Hi guys, trust you good. So I watched this um, YouTube video making rave at the moment by Omonopoli that love in every word, I think, and very comedic, right? You'd laugh, you'd wonder at the reason and all of that. But in the midst of all of that, I picked certain lessons that I want to share with you today. And you see, that's the thing. Whenever I have the opportunity to watch any movie, irrespective of what the general theme is supposed to be or what the general plot of the play is supposed to be, I try to ask myself what are certain lessons that I can pick from here. Now, this is a movie that has to do with a man who was very much interested in a young lady and went all of his way to get her attention, get her contact, strike up a conversation with her, and was clear from the very beginning that he wants to marry her. And of course, she had reservations, and you see, she at some point was clear about her reservations, even though she used his accent as her reservation as to why she doesn't want to marry him, but it was way beyond that. And so, in the end, right, I mean, from the way the movie, went about it, they finally got married. But you see, the journey to that point is what I want to talk about today. Now, in that conversation, one of the things that I first noticed is that it's okay for you to like what you don't like. It's okay for you to have a reason for which you don't want to be with someone. And you don't necessarily need to see it as a rejection as a guy or as a lady, right? And it can be painful. So I know, for example, she talked about his accent. And you see, you meet some other persons who would say, oh, because you're short, because you're too tall is why I can't be with you. Because you are not of the same Christian faith is why I can't be with you. Because you've been married before is why I can't be with you. And it's fine. The truth is there is your own person out there who would accept you, who would want what you want, who would be okay with who you are and what you are, and would want to be with you. Can it be painful? Absolutely, it can be. But hey, don't think about it. Such is life. And so she was clear about what she had issues was his accent. But you see, underlying that was not really the accent at the end of the day. And that brings me to the next point. You see, you could have gone through a traumatic experience and have been removed from that traumatic experience, but that trauma hasn't left you. Let me explain. It's possible for you to have had a traumatic experience in life. Maybe you grew up with a tough dad, or you grew up with an abusive father or an abusive mother, or you didn't experience love at home and host of other things, right? Even when you've grown from that situation, even when you've grown from that scenario, if you do not deal with the trauma that you experienced, you're going to find yourself and realize that you are still living with that thing in your head, right? And so you see people who have had difficult childhood almost projecting the childhood even in their adulthood, and then you're wondering, but you are older now, you are advanced now, why are you still thinking this way? It's because they didn't deal with that trauma that they experienced. They assume that it's gone, but then situations come in and then they realize that, oh, this trauma is still there. So it's important to look at where you're coming from and ask yourself, have I dealt with this experience I had in the past? Have I dealt with my growing up? So for example, in this particular case, she had a father who she realized was absent, and a very tough one, so the man had another child, another woman out there. So she meets this man, and in her head, she's waiting for her to discover that the man is married somewhere or has a wife somewhere and is just coming to lie to her. These are some ways we have deprived ourselves, right, of a happy life because of our experiences. We are projecting on people, we are projecting on those who come to us, and we just label people that this is likely who they are, or you're waiting for them to fail, you're waiting for them to flop, you're waiting for them to commit an offense so that you can have a reason not to do the things that they have asked you to do, so they can have a reason to tell them no, so they can have a reason to say you're not interested in what they're asking you to do, right? And so what can you do in such a situation is for you to make your findings, right? Just make your findings and clear the air. Ask questions. If you still do not believe in the answers they have given to you, look for people around who can help you do the questioning. And that brings us to my third point: have good friends. Look, in this life, you need good friends. One of the big things that she enjoyed is the fact that her friends were able to take the conversation to her supposed Odogu, right? And they were able to hear from the man what exactly it is that he's trying to do. And without her putting the question forward herself, her friends were able to go there to say, look, this is the challenge that our friend is having. This is how our childhood was. And this is what's in her head. And so it's possible that, that is why she's saying no to you, or she's staying away from you and most of other things. Have good friends. You don't need to have many friends, but have those close-knit friends who know about you in total, who can also tell you the truth, who can say, hey girl, hey boy, this thing you're doing doesn't make sense. You are making a mess of your life. You are misbehaving and you cannot continue like this. These ones will always tell you the truth. And they will tell you the truth because it doesn't matter what it is. They are not gaining from you. Those ones that are gaining from you, who are leeching on you, then put it that way, will not tell you the truth, because when they tell you the truth, they know that you will cut short the supply, the things that you're giving to them. So have the friends that are real, that can tell you the truth. But most importantly, you also as a person must be able to decipher what exactly you want. You have to be truthful to yourself. You have to be open to yourself. And so all in all, right, the core message here is, one, know what you really want. And don't let the experience of the past deter you from going after what you want or accepting what is good. Sometimes some things might seem too good, but they are real. Oh, lest I forget, I was going to say that, you see, when we find ourselves in relationships with people, we must ask ourselves, am I self-sabotaging? Is this thing too good to be true? Am I daydreaming? Or is it real? If you've not experienced something good before, if you've always experienced something bad, it's very, very easy for you to self-sabotage. And you see, one thing I'm going to say here is, if you've been used to dating downwards, as people say these days, you will struggle when somebody comes and the person is ahead of you. If as a lady, all the guys that you have dated are those that you're having to feed, you're having to clothe, you're having to cater to them in every aspect. When a guy comes that wants to cater to you, it will seem too real. When a guy comes that wants to take care of everything, that wants to show you love as it should be, as taking care of you, it will seem too good to be true. And so the psychology behind that is a conditioning. You have become so conditioned and you have developed the savior complex that if you're not the one saving the person, you then begin to question if this thing is even real at all. So trust me, you must understand that you need to guard against a mental condition. You need to guard against a mental conditioning that limits you, mental conditioning that makes you think that things must go in this particular direction, because life is fluid and your brain is wired to relate or to take note of things that are consistent. And so when an inconsistent thing comes around, your brain triggers it and tells you, hey, watch out. Begins to make you feel like you're about to make a mistake. So go out there, right, and ask yourself, am I still dealing with past trauma? Have I really healed from the past trauma? Because of how this guy treated me, how this lady treated me, is this why I have made certain rules that are now self-sabotaging? Is this why I am saying no to good things that are real, that are original, that are genuine? And also you want to ask yourself, have I conditioned myself to reason in a certain way? Have I conditioned myself? Have I been conditioned to act in a certain way, think in a certain way, reason in a certain way, right? So go out there. If you need to seek help, but you must be truthful to yourself, first of all. One of the things I tell people when they come to therapy is the journey is for you to be truthful to yourself. Is there a problem? Do you admit that there is a challenge? If you admit that there is a challenge, then you can begin your healing journey. But if you do not accept or agree that there is a challenge, then nothing can happen. So I hope you find this video worth it. Go out there be a better person. Let me know what you think in the comment section.